Do you do a lot of work in the AI visual space, making AI animations, AI videos, and the like? Well, so do I, and I want to share with you my favorite tool for making that process a lot easier. Welcome back to the channel where we discuss the creative uses of AI, and today I'm going to show you my favorite editing tool for AI project workflows. So I've been editing videos for years on my channel for various projects, and I've always used one of the high-end video editors because I felt like I needed that. But quite honestly, I always used a fraction of the functions, and I was paying a lot of money. And then they started doing subscriptions, and that's when I started looking for alternatives. Let me preface this by saying I'm a PC user. There are lots of video editing solutions out there for people in the AI space, and they provide lots of AI-related tools. However, it's not the AI-related tools that get my attention as much as the functionality of the editor itself. I use AI tools to create the AI content. I want an editor that's going to help me put that together or create resources for my AI workflows that work in an efficient manner. And so today I'm going to show you why I choose the Filmora editor from Wondershare for these tasks. I'm not doing a general overview of the Filmora editor. I've actually done that in another video, which I'll point to up here. I'm talking specifically about how I use Filmora every day and why it is always active on my toolbar. The first feature I'm sharing today is the ability to record in-app. Now that's recording from your webcam, recording from your PC screen, or recording voiceover, which can be particularly useful for timing purposes. Let me show you what I mean. First, I got to get my headphones on. Let's drag in a video that already has some sound on it. When you add a video to a timeline like this and there's nothing else on there, it's going to say, do you want me to change the project settings to match that video, or do you want to keep the project settings? In this case, I'm going to have it matched to the media, the video file I moved in. Now this is a file that already has some sound on it, some music, and some sound effects. Now what I want to do is add some voiceover on here. I could jump into another audio editor and piece all these things together and bring them in one by one, or I can just do everything right in here. I could do one long audio track, or I can do it piecemeal. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I'm at the beginning of the video right now. I'm going to click on record voiceover, make sure that my mic is set, that I'm getting a level, and if I choose mute project, I will not be able to hear what's going on the video. If I don't leave this checked, then I'll be able to hear the music and the sound effects, which in this case I think I really want, just to help me get into the groove of this. Really all I'm going to do right now is just record some nonsense gibberish for all of these little animals in the grocery store. Click on record, get a little countdown, which you can set. Now I've got this audio in here that is going to sync with the video. And if I wanted to, I could add a little characterization to this audio by just isolating that one track where the mouse is talking. I can close this up, go to pitch, and raise it. And I could do that for all the voices in here. The point is, I don't have to drag anything from anywhere. It's all right here, and I have full access to effects, pitch, fading in, fading out, equalizer, denoising, de-reverbing, hum removal. These are all high-end features, folks. I've paid big money for in higher-end programs. Now, the in-app recording ability becomes even more convenient when it comes to video, because with AI, there are certain things that you do with video that require certain frame rates sometimes. Sometimes it's better to have a 512 by 512 resolution. And getting this video in the format you want can be sort of a nightmare in juggling apps and different conversion tools. At least it has for me. I'm jumping back and forth between my phone, I'm cropping here, I'm changing frame rate there. Now I don't have to worry about any of that. I can record the video right here in Filmora in real time and export it in any format, frame rate, or size I want, just like that, and it's ready to use in my application. Let's take Live Portrait, for example, which is a super cool current technology that allows you to bring facial animation to still images and video based on what they call a driving video that you provide. In this case, it would be a video of me looking into the camera and talking with the facial expressions I want to put onto the video that I'm going to use. So let's do that right now, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Hi, this is an example of Live Portrait in action, where I'm using this video that I'm recording right here inside the Filmora editor to drive the facial animation of a video that you are about to see. Well, actually, you're looking at it right now. Now we've recorded this video here in Filmora. We don't have to bring it in from anywhere else. We just drag it right down to the timeline. Now, to export this the format we want, we're going to go to the project settings, And we're going to change the frame rate to 30 frames per second. We're going to change the resolution to custom and make it 512 by 512 because that's what the live portrait workflow prefers. Now we need to adjust the video here so that the face fills this 512 area, so it'll be a good driver video. Now we're ready to export. So we just click on export. We can click to match project settings, which are 512, 512, 30 frames per second. Just call it Live Portrait Driver and export. Now we're in Comfy UI, which is what we use to run the Live Portrait workflow and make this all happen. Now, if you use Comfy UI and Live Portrait, you know exactly what I'm talking about and can relate to this use case. And that's who I'm really talking to, the people who understand why these particular tool sets are so valuable for the AI creator. So here is the video that we're going to drive the facial animation on. Right now, she's not saying anything. And then what we're going to do is load this video, this Live Portrait Driver video that we just created, in to run the facial animation. So now when we run this workflow, we'll see this facial animation on this character here when it's done. So we'll just click on Cue Prompt and wait. All right, so here is the finished animation with my facial expression put on top of it. Let's see what we got. Hi, this is an example of Live Portrait in action where I'm using this video that I'm recording right here inside the Filmora editor to drive the facial animation of a video that you are about to see. Well, actually, you're looking at it right now. So that saved tons of time from my previous workflow where I would record it on my phone and then maybe crop it on my phone, then upload it to the computer, then change the frame rate, then send it into the workflow. This just saves so much time and it's so freaking easy. Another use case is background removal for video. Here's a great example. I use an animation platform called Hedra, which we've discussed on the channel many times, which allows you to take or create an image of a face, tell it what to say either by doing text-to-speech or uploading an audio, and then that audio,
"Hello, I'm an old Inuit woman."
will be transferred to the face.
"Hello, I'm an old Inuit woman."
The reason I put her on a green background was to demonstrate that, of course, there are two ways to remove a background in Filmora. One is a green screen, your typical chroma key. So I could drag this right into the timeline. We'll match it to the media. It's a 512 by 512 animation. Let's bring in a background. We're going to keep the project settings. We'll match that. Now, what do you think will happen if I click chroma key up here? We're going to make sure our video is selected. Going to go to AI Tools and click on chroma key. And you probably guessed it. She's got a green jacket. So that chroma key won't work in this situation. Now we can try and get around that by specifying her clothes color. Old woman wearing a blue shirt on a green background. And then we can generate that. Drag this one into the timeline, get rid of that one, move it over, click on chroma key. And we might need to do a little bit of adjustment here to try to get that color back. Point is, it can be a little tricky sometimes if the person's wearing green, but we got a great solution for that. Let's get rid of this. Let's take her off. Let's get this background the right size so it actually fills the space. Let's get our original woman back in here with the green because she's the one we want. And now, under AI Tools, we can choose AI Portrait, and it just happens. And now,
I'm not sure why, and I don't think I should talk like this coming from any glue.
So now I've got her in front of any background I want, and I didn't even have to worry about the green screen, which is great because I actually have quite a lot of videos here made with this platform, and maybe I want all of these people in the same place. Right now they have different backgrounds. However, if I just put the same background behind them, go into AI portrait mode for both of these, now you can see they're all in the same place. For me, this is a use case I use a good bit because I'm playing with tools like this a lot, where it generates a background of its own, but I want some flexibility. And to be able to do that with video and not just still images and in real time like that is pretty great. That's why I use it anyway. And speaking to these two yahoos right here, let's say I want to have them sing together with a couple of friends. Let's bring their friends in here. We'll just drag these over. We'll get this timeline off. And what if we want to get them all together on a montage? Now that has always been a nightmare for me in other programs. There was all kinds of masking and moving around you had to do just to create a simple grid. Here, it's not a problem. It's super easy. You go under templates and you can click right under split screen. I'm just going to choose the basic 4-person split screen here. Just choose that. Click the plus. I've got it here down on my timeline. I'm actually going to extend it out to allow the time for the media. Now I just go back to my media, make sure the cursor is over this screen. Now I can just drag these right onto this grid and drop them and adjust the size. So I'm going to have it fill the screen for the most part, and I can decide whether or not I want to mute them. They're all sharing the same audio track, and if I had them all play, that'd be insane. So I'll just leave this one going, and I will mute the rest as I add them. The settings function here allows you to go in at a timeline level and adjust the timing of these things things, the position of these, if you need to. Most of the time, in this use case, I never have to do that. But you do have some fine-tuning ability with this split screen function if you want it. For me, I'm just happy that it's just that easy to create grids just by dragging and dropping these dudes on here, making a few little adjustments, muting the audio on the extra ones. I'll go back to the beginning and play it, and you'll see what we got.
Split screen was always a pain in the butt, but Filmora made it easy, I'll tell you what. You just choose your template and you drag and drop. For ease of use, this function is hard to top.
Yeah. And of course you have controls over whether or not there is a border, what color the border might be, and the size of the border, and so on. All the controls you would expect, but so easy to use. I just recently did a video on this topic, but let's talk about making long or extended AI videos. The technology of AI videos right now, and I'm talking about platforms like Kling, Luma Dream Machine, Runway, and Vidu that produce high-quality videos with text prompts or image prompts. They'll usually max out between 4 and 10 seconds for an animation or a video output at any one time. Several of the services allow you to use what's called keyframes, a beginning frame and an end frame, so that you always know what the first frame of the video is going to be and what the last frame of the video is going to be. That way you can easily take those images that are making up that sequence that create the story and just put them as the end and beginning sequences. Let's take Luma Labs for example, just to show you how these images guide the animation. So first I'll load a starting frame, and then I'm going to click on end frame, and now I've got an end frame. It's going to create an animation between these two. So I know that this will be the first frame of the animation, and then this will be the last frame of the animation. Or I have the ability to reverse them. So we start here and we end up here. So that looks like this. We started with that first frame and now we end up here. Here in Luma, if we want to extend this animation so that it ends on a predictable frame, we can't just click extend, because if we do, all we can do is type in a text prompt. We could say something like, the girls start doing a dance, and let that render. But that way we have no control over where this thing ends. But what if we somehow wanted this video to land on this image here? We don't have the ability to add an end frame, but because this last frame was based on an existing image, we can just create a new animation and then put them together in Filmora. In this case, this would be our starting frame, then this would be our ending frame, and so we'll render that and see how the AI puts these two together. Meanwhile, let's check out these girls doing a dance. Well, they started to. They start doing a dance. I didn't say they did a dance, did I? I said they start doing a dance. And that's exactly what happens, or at least she does. Let's see what it did with this. Oh, I hate it when it just fades. I want them to walk and morph. But I'll go ahead and download this to show you the principle here. We got the first video that we did, and then the second one. We'll just drag them onto the timeline. And now you can see that it's a smooth transition from that first one to that kind of boring second one. Now, if I wanted to extend from here, I would just go back to Luma and use this one as the starting frame and so on. But let's say I've generated something that ends in a frame that I don't have an existing image for, and I want to extend it from there, but I don't have an image for that last frame. How can I easily get the last frame of the video so that it can become the first frame of the next video so I can chain them together and get a smooth video? Let's create that scenario. So we've got that last animation we did that ended with that other girl standing with the dog. So this one right here. Let's generate an animation without an end frame so that it will just end in a random location. Then I'll show you how to bring that back to an image that you've already created. Let's just say girl and dog walk to a fireplace, because I want to bring them into the same general region as this area here, because I'm going to use one of these original images as the ending frame for the final thing. We'll get this generated. Here's the result. She's not really walking that great. So instead she sort of does a saunter over and exposes the fireplace. But regardless, this is a frame that we do not have an image for. So if we wanted to continue this animation and bring it back to something that we have an image for, we need to get the last frame of this animation and use it as the first frame of the next one. So we'll download that video. We'll just drag it into Filmora. So you can see it continues that video. So now here we are on the last frame of the video. All we have to do is click this camera button right here, and we'll save that last frame as an image that we can use as the starting frame for the next animation. So now I'll load that as the first image and that as the last image. I'm asking for trouble here because they're different colors and the whole thing. So I'm going to say creepy girl and doll walk in and sit by the fireplace and get that going. Here's how it resolved that transition. We pan up, and now we're back there. So we'll download that, drag it right into Filmora, drop it on the timeline, and now we have a whole smooth video. Of course, there's plenty of video solutions that you might play with that don't offer the ability to use keyframes like a start frame and an end frame. In that case, you'd always have to use this technique if you were going to extend your animation. So let's just take this pirate ship example. This was created on Vidoo. So just like before, we would download the first video, drag that video down onto Filmora's timeline, go to the last frame, grab it just like before, drag that into Vidoo as the first frame, and now let's give it some other action to do. A giant whale suddenly surfaces, rocking the ship violently and creating huge splashes. Now we'll just go from there. Now we've got this one, and the whale appears doing exactly what I love. See, this is why I freaking love this platform. It does what you tell it to. Let's download that, drag it on the timeline, just drop it right there, do a quick test. There you go, nice and smooth. Now you might notice there's a color grading difference. Like the color suddenly gets very blue here. And that does happen sometimes when you use this technique. However, with Filmora, you've got a solution with one click. Well, a couple of clicks. To me, this second one is a little too blue, and this has more of the mood that I want to. So I'm going to click on the clip I want to change, and under basic settings for video, I'm going to click on color match and click on comparison view. Now I can go through the video and find the frame that I want the color to match. So now we're into the new one. I want it to match somewhere around in here. So I'm going to click on match and watch what happens on the right. We have a color grade change, my friends. Click on OK, and now it is not as jarring. Just for fun, let's do one more. I'm going to grab that frame, save it, drag it over here, give it some other instruction. The ship suddenly explodes in a burst of flame, and I'll try sending the whale flying through the air. And just for fun, I'm going to give this 8 seconds to do this because I can. All right, there we've got our explosion. And there goes the whale! First time. Download, drag this on the timeline. Remember, it was 8 seconds, not 4. That's why it's longer. The explosion, well, let's see. What I want to see if the color grading is noticeable. It's not really that bad. I'll go ahead and match it just for best practices or something. We'll bring it right up next to where that happens. We'll choose the frame, maybe right here. We'll match that. So that really took away a lot of the color of the explosion. So let's play with the value down here. Drag it back just a little so we have more of that color of the explosion. And I think that does okay. So we're going to click OK. The other really convenient thing about Filmora is I've got my media right here. So if I want a sound effect of the ocean, I can just type ocean. Choose the one I want. We'll just grab that. We'll drag that down, trim it. Got to get an explosion there. Sound effect, explosion. Sure. And maybe the whale cresting. I see that the boat actually does its thing well before the whale hits it. Maybe it's just got a really long tail and it whacked it from the bottom. Who knows? But we got some splashing sounds right there. Water splash. What other kind of splash is there? Sure, we'll use that one, but I might lower the pitch a little bit and make it seem a little more awesome. Let's see. Yeah, the timing wasn't good there. That's probably the splash. Ooh, turn off snapping, which is an option, but me no like. We need some adventurous music, which we could generate with AI or just go to the library. Let's just type pirate, see what we got. Pirate orchestra. Nah. We'll go with that one. That sounds awesome. Drag that down here. Trim it. Fade. Go up here. Use a fade transition to get the video out. Ocean wave sound effects. Fade. Nope. Definitely need another splash before that. We definitely need something right there where the whale is coming up. So let's go back to splashes. Oh, that's pretty cool. Need another big splash there. I'm just going to copy that one for right now. And probably also another explosion. Maybe a little lower. When we're done, the export options are great. Any of these formats, including image sequences, which is again huge for AI people who do a lot of animation. Resolution all the way up to 8K. A huge variety of frame rates. And you can even generate a thumbnail, which I don't do that every time, so I'm not going to show you, because I said I was only going to show you what I do every day. and so much of the heavy lifting all done there in Filmora. And that's why I have it running all the time, because I'm constantly dragging things in and out of there and producing content and pieces of content and resources that I need for all my other projects. So if you're a hardcore AI creator and you do a lot of video production, and if your process is a little more clunky and requires a little more tools, then I invite you to check out Filmora, because I think it's awesome. If these are the types of things you like to learn about, then why not subscribe to the channel, because these are the topics we discuss, well, all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I